Hello everybody, just checking out the patch notes, giving my thoughts on that. So they are adding in Malignant rings, so that's pretty cool, but they should come out today. So this is pretty interesting because it's yet another unique that buffs Upheaval, and everybody knows that Upheaval is kind of insane right now. Barb is easily, it might actually be the best class in the game right now, I don't know. I mean, Lightning Ball Sork is really strong, but I think Barb is like also insanely strong. So I think Barb might be like one of the best classes in the game right now. Most people ended up underestimating the overpower changes, as I said in numerous videos that the overpower changes are nuts. I've also said that if Barb is bad, it's because of significant issues with systems as opposed to the class, because Barb is inherently going to be one of the strongest classes in the game. It's just a mathematics thing about how many items they can use versus how many slots they have. They have like 6 weapon slots. No other class in the game has that. Or they have like 4 weapon slots, whatever it is. So like they just have more weapon slots than every other class in the game. So at any moment when they have enough multipliers, Barb is going to easily be like a top tier class, I think, in a lot of seasons just because of that one thing alone. They pretty much have from D3, if this makes sense. What do you call it? Kanai's cube almost in a way, because they have that extra power that like no other class is going to be able to get. Now obviously the classes have other things and they have their own deal, but like in my opinion it's not to the same degree that what the Barb has. Having that extra offensive slot is just a little wild because they have the extra offensive slot on top of that whole arsenal system. So yeah, it's like when you compare, like, for example, the Druid one to it, it's not even close in terms of like the value that a Barb gets over like what a Druid gets from the boons. But that is okay. I'm just giving my thoughts on that. But now, so this is pretty good. Talrash's Iridescent Loop for each type of elemental damage. It'll be alright, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what people do with this. This is great. This is the Druid one. So whenever you cast an ultimate skill, it'll pull things in. It says this damage is increased by 1% per 1 point of willpower that you have. So I am not 100% sure. It says deal 0.5 to 1.0 physical damage to them. So that scales off your weapon damage. So that's saying it's going to do either half or up to all of your weapon damage to them, which is pretty solid, especially when you consider it's being increased by 1 point per percent willpower you have. So this might actually even do a decent chunk of damage. I don't know. We'll see. It only goes off when you cast an ultimate skill, but when you think of things like we have like anticipation and things that reduce ultimate skills, it kind of makes me wonder if it kind of makes me wonder if things like lacerate or like these really low CD ultimates might actually get a lot of value out of this for the Druid. I don't know. We'll see. Wreathing Band of Trickery on the Rogue. Casting a subterfuge skill leaves a decoy trap that continuously taunts and lures enemies. The decoy trap explodes after 3 seconds, dealing 2.0 to 3.0 shadow damage. Can occur every 12 seconds. This one is like okay. I don't remember this being ran a whole lot by rogues in Season 1. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Someone can correct me, but I don't even think this is really anything that great. Ring of the Sacrilegious. Necromancer, I think, probably are the biggest winners. I think Necromancers... I mean, actually, I take that back. I think Necromancers, Druids, and Barbs actually all are winning pretty big here. Because they're getting very much usable stuff, whereas I think the Talrashas, meh, and I think the Wreathing Bang of Trickery is going to be a little meh. But Ring of the Sacrilegious, where it like makes your Race Skeleton go off, your Corpse Explosion, and your Corpse Tendrils go off all the time just by walking around, that's just a nice quality of life thing. I think a lot of Necros are going to run that. Especially like when you consider, if you look at, like for example, I have a Blood Surge Necro set up right now. Like I have like a couple of ring slots because like blood necros don't have like an insane amount of legendary powers right now, so they actually have open slots. They typically are just running things like Umbral Aspect and stuff like that just gives them resource back. So I don't know, maybe this will be a reason to run it. I don't know, we'll see. But Infinimist, I think that'll be interesting to see if they end up using it. Okay, so that's going to be the Malignant rings. Season of Blood. Okay, so Sanguine Battery event, whatever. Fix some things. There's a bug in here that I would like to point out that I thought was hilarious because I made a video a couple weeks ago talking about how I was very confused about the Uber Lilith fight because I was doing Shred Druid when I was trying to kill her, and I was doing some big fat hits on her. I was hitting her for like 17 million and yada yada, and I would get her down, and what would end up happening was I'd eventually get her down to where she would go into her second phase. But the thing is that even though I pretty much like, I didn't necessarily like one-shot her into phase 1, like I had to, like I would say like 2 or 3 shot her out of phase 1 with the poison shred druid. But the issue was, after she would die, she would still do an AoE ground effect. And when I was watching other videos of other players doing it, that was not happening to them, right? Like once they one-shot her out of that phase, the fight was pretty much just done. Like the hardest part of doing Uber Lilith is just having enough damage to get her out of phase 1. If you can do that with your build, then you'll have a good time. But the issue I was having was she would do not even just like, it wasn't even like it was just one. She would do multiple of them. So even though I one-shot her out of phase 1, she would all of a sudden launch all these area of effect attacks, and it was like, oh well, okay then I guess, right? And I would die. So it's kind of interesting that, you know, fixed an issue where Lilith could still launch area of effect attacks after she is defeated following the first phase. And I'm just sitting here like, my god, it feels like every season there's some bug that just affects me super like a lot. That's kind of annoying. Right now, I will say this, there's another bug I think right now that's affecting at least the Shred Druid. It's not consistently going off when it should. I actually tested it quite a lot, and it definitely was not hitting like it should be consistently. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know what the deal is, but right now I think Shred Druid also has a bug with the Blurred Beast, which also sucks because I like to play Shred Druid. But yeah, so that was the main interesting thing I saw here, was if you're trying to do Uber Lilith and you were trying to figure out why she kept doing that AoE attack even after she had nothing in her health bar and she was doing like her death animation effect, well, there you go. There you go. Okay, accessibility, fix an issue where the screen reader wouldn't properly read life totals, web 999, yada yada, and miscellaneous. Yeah. Fix an issue where Necromanians and Druid Companions wouldn't attack training dummies. I never saw that. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. Now that I think about it, unless I use the active on it, they wouldn't attack it. That's right, like they would never attack it until I use the active, which didn't make any sense because normally once you attack something, they start attacking. So, I mean, that's not a huge issue, but yeah. So anyways, that's the patch notes here. With the Malignant Rings, I will say this. I don't like that they put them on a ring slot. That kind of sucks. I wish they would have put them in, I don't know, a different slot, but I guess that's okay. But or if they could have just made some type of like Malignant Gem again, or like Malignant Heart, just left them as a heart and just rebalanced them and brought them back so you could put them into your rings, I think would be pretty cool. But then again, that might be a terrible idea and cause insane amounts of power creep. So maybe the ring thing is right, but I don't really care for the fact that they have them on rings. But I will say some of these do seem better, like the Inexorable Will. If this damage turns out to be pretty high, because this will all get multiplied by your multipliers, that might actually end up doing quite a bit of damage. So I'm interested to try that out once I can find one and you know, see once I can get one to drop for me. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you next time. Thanks.